Hi guys, this is CC123. I'm just going to be doing some advanced gameplay with Frozen Fury. What I'd like to show you today is how strong the build is with some augmentation. So what I've done is augment pretty much every ancient item I have here with gems from 60 to 74. Give me another couple of thousand worth of strength. I can't remember what exactly it is, but I think originally my strength was about 9,000 something, now it's up to 11.5. So as you can see here, I've got 63 there on the weapon, another one on the gloves, shoulders, helm. Still got a rubbish chest piece, so there's nothing there. Got one on the belt, pants. Got some new boots, which are fantastic. So got some nice augmentation on that. Yeah, and that's it. So I still don't have augmentation on chest, both rings, braces, or Hellfire Amy. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a 68. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the gameplay, because those of you that have been reading the thread will have noticed that we've had our usual amount of armchair generals and armchair barbs come in that don't actually play the build, but criticise, make some criticisms about it, which are basically unjustified. So what we're going to do is just point out what exactly that they're not factoring in with their paper DPS equations as to the effectiveness in the build in comparison to another one that's around, which omits some of the skills on this and replaces them, or that basically makes the gameplay the same as in a Mortal King set. So the first thing you'll notice is that when I jump in and stun, I immediately with my third jump maximise the distance. Now you can't do that with anything that doesn't have ×3 leap on it. So those sorts of builds, what they're doing when they do that style of play, are instantly crippling how much DPS they're putting out because they can't maximise the distance in a fraction of a second like I can. So that's the first thing that those builds aren't factoring in. So straight up, they need to start dropping a percentage of their DPS on paper for that. Now I've actually played with those and played that build myself. Some of them are flat out running around for almost the whole grift with the enemies right up in their face the whole time. So they, on average, I'm not too sure just how much that DPS would be reduced, but I'm comfortable to say that in certain grifts it could be reduced by as much as the complete benefit you get from Z's and from No Escape, and so on. The second bit of the gameplay that I'll show you when I get to the next elite pack is that because of their inability to very quickly through or on their third leap to position themselves correctly, they very frequently miss out on the first ×5 or first multiplicative bonus from braces of the first men with the first 5 enemies they hit, by way of not ensuring that that's on the elites that need it the most to get those progression globes. Again, I've played with those. Barb's running that particular set and tested it thoroughly myself, and the main problem they have is, like I said, that they've got everything running at them in their face. The only way that you can counter that if you are running that build, and you do prefer it to this, is hope to get a map like this or like Caves, in which you're forcing all the enemies to just face you in one direction, not multiple directions. That can actually help you a bit. So that's the second main point there, is that you have no crowd control at all with that. Even popping avalanche as one person posted on there, that doesn't help that much at all. It's I find a bit of a rubbish skill, and it takes up a valuable skill slot that you can put something else of more value on, particularly with this build like Wrath of the Berserker, or as you can see in here, I do have quite a bit of quite a legitimate use for sprint, because the thing is killing stuff pretty fast. 2, 3, so as you can see there, I've maximised the distance in one leap with that elite. What I do notice with speed 65s is with blues I can take down with 2 rotations, and with most yellows between 2 and 3. So as you can see there, I'm keeping him at that distance and as one of the first 5 quite easily. And he'll be dead quite shortly. So that's another factor that they're not putting into that build, that their DPSs are on paper more, but in actual fact, because of limitations of their gameplay, it's significantly less. The second thing too that sorry, not second, but probably the third or fourth thing that they're not factoring into that that style of gameplay where you don't use leap, is that on paper they are quite happy to break up the DPS separately into two areas. So one thing they like to do is compare the slam damage to my build and say, well, this is how you should improve it. The other one is the earthquake. What they're not doing, or they're freely omitting with their evaluations, is that this build does both attacks at the same time, particularly when you're speed farming 68, which is currently the sweet spot for where I am at the moment with strength. So in other words, I'm doing two forms of damage at the one time, and those two forms of damage should be added together. So I'm doing both the earthquake and slam. Whichever build you go for with the others, they're not. They're only doing one. The only one that comes close is Boulder Toss. The Boulder Toss doesn't pump out anywhere near the amount of attacks per second that I do with Slam. I'll probably punch out anywhere between 3 and 5 slams per one Boulder Toss. Now, Boulder Toss is still, in my opinion, stronger than this build, just simply because the boulders that do come out do a shed load of damage. But when you look at all the multiplicative items that they have, say for instance, even the Blade of the Tribes, that blade itself's at 200%, which is what we originally asked for Fury the Vanished Peak, which the devs say they were going to give to us, but they decided to nerf that further. So yeah, that's yet another point to point out there. Now, another factor too is, because this is the sweet spot that I'm farming at the moment, part of what's defined by the sweet spot is maximising the amount of crowd control that it does put out and minimising the time to take down elites. So, as I said, with some blues on 68, it only takes me 2 rotations to drop them. One full rotation of that, there is no movement at all of that blue. They stay exactly where I put them, and when I leap out, I've instantly maximised my distance between them and myself. With any other build that, unless it's cold, or certainly if it's one of those, so just see how much damage I just did there by that guy not even moving. And that's a yellow, and he's going to be taken down shortly. So with those other builds, particularly that one that uses the Immortal King's bonus in addition to Moat but foregoes leap, you will never ever be able to do that. That build just simply does not put out anywhere near the amount of crowd control. So its first barrage of slams equivalent to my first barrage, I will always out DPS that. Simply because my target is not moving whilst taking damage from 2 separate sources. Now, I haven't really been paying any attention to this Grift. This is definitely going slow by my normal 68 standards, but that's because I'm just trying to focus on what I'm actually saying, as opposed to making sure I usually speed ahead like I do and just focus on elites and so on. Okay, so we've got 3 there. Maximise my distance, laying down that barrage pretty quickly there, the first 5. Just reloaded with Warcry, so I'm doing even more again. And as per usual, those blues are less than half health. That's how I know I've done a good successful barrage. And I've just got Vortex there towards the end, but unfortunately I just went over my usual 1 quota leaps there. I had to just do a second one to finish off that last guy who was almost dead. But yeah, that was a pretty normal, or a pretty good sort of takedown. So we've got some shielding guys here, so these will definitely take longer, because shielding is a cheating affix. There we go, and I think there's a yellow in here, so 2, 3. Now another thing you can do is, I haven't been doing it this one, but I've been doing it to a very, been doing it a bit more regularly now. I've got the habit, is when you can run in, you can drop your first earthquake manually, drop 2 more with your leaps, and then jump out, so you've actually stacked 3 earthquakes. And you can do that fairly regularly with this build. Particularly when you combined sprint with it, it'll work very, very effectively with that. So just going to kite this guy because he's a horse's ass for just about every build. I don't know a build that actually likes this bloke. And that's another factor again too, so that particular build that I was talking about earlier, the moat with Mortal Kings doesn't have sprint on it, so in the event that you do end up with a guy like this that's in your face, you can't get out anywhere near as quickly to maximise that distance between you and them. And he won't survive this rotation. And that's it really, so that's a typical sort of, in fact it's a little bit slower than usual, speed 65, 5 minutes. They usually range from 6 minutes to anything to 9 minutes. Obviously the 9 minute ones are when you get a dream grift, but I'm used to usually seeing 6 point something or 7 point something on there. Yeah, so I'm just doing them at the moment to speed level all my augmentation gems or gems that I use up to 70. So they're pretty much all maximised for when I do get back into the group meta and start speed farming those 80s plus. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the quick speed 68. I'll probably put up one or two more in the coming weeks. Plus the guide is almost finished though, but I've just I've got my own consulting firm and I just signed 2 new clients, so they're taking priority at the moment, obviously, because that's paid work. But I hope to have it up this weekend before I go away for another work trip. So thank you very much, and yeah, have a great day. See ya.